Canada is bracing for what could be one of its worst storms on record as Hurricane Fiona makes its way north.
The Category 4 storm has already killed at least 5 people across the Caribbean, and now Fiona is moving rapidly up the Atlantic Ocean. It's pounding Bermuda today with heavy rains. You see the forecast on your screen now. It's expected to make landfall in parts of Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island and Newfoundland by Saturday morning. Canada's Hurricane Center is already warning this storm has the potential to be a landmark weather event.
John Lohr joins us now. He is Nova Scotia's Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, which is responsible for the Emergency Management Office. John, welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. So storms typically slow down a bit as they travel north. Fiona, we know, started as a Category 4 hurricane. What are you expecting will hit Canada?
Well, thank you, Elaine. We're expecting a tropical storm. They slow down when they hit the cooler water around Nova Scotia, which is a good thing. This one is coming right up out of the Atlantic, which is a little bit unusual for us, as you may know. Normally, storms hit New York and Boston first, and then hit us. So, but we're expecting a very, very severe storm, very high rainfall, very high winds, and storm surge as well. Very low atmospheric pressure, which apparently causes a higher storm surge. A 2-meter, well, I guess that would be a 6-7 foot storm surge in Imperial. So 2-meter storm surge.
Definitely appreciate the
conversion for
the conversion and calculation there, John. But you know what strikes me too, and you mentioned this, we're not used to seeing hurricanes hit Canada. And unlike places like the Caribbean, like Florida, that the local population is used to their emergency mode when these storms approach. I'm not so sure that's the case where you are. Fill us in. How then are you preparing, and do you really expect that people will be prepared, as prepared as they need to be?
Well, absolutely. We actually normally get a couple hurricanes every year. We have some very memorable ones that have hit us. But normally it's once every 5 or 10 years we have one this severe. I mean, it remains to be seen how it turns out. But we are predicting a very severe hurricane. So hurricanes are a normal event for us just as well as you. Any hurricane that goes up the east coast of the United States, we have it too. So the hurricanes that hit you normally hit us. Dorian, we remember very well. Juan, we remember very well. And those are in the last 3 or 4 years. You may remember those names too. So they hit us hard too. So our people are getting ready. We're preparing.
So just a little bit more on that, John. I mean, you mentioned Dorian. So Canada has dealt with hurricanes in the past, but they are typically, as you say, much weaker by the time they reach Canada. I'm curious what kind of infrastructure is in place, because as Errol points out, in Florida, we're used to seeing, the National Weather Service, the National Hurricane Center up and running. There is sort of almost a methodical process that unfolds as we watch a storm progress up the coast. What is the infrastructure like there in Canada, given that while you do have storms, they are a bit rare of this kind of magnitude?
Well, we have a provincial coordination center, which involves all of our emergency measure response. All of our municipalities would have emergency measure response plans. So there's an activation of that. There's been an emergency alert issued for our people. We're getting the message out to Nova Scotians what they need to do. They understand it very well. These are not as rare. We have 2 or 3 hurricanes every year. But this is a very significant hurricane, just knowing the rainfall expected, the wind and the storm surge. So and this is not only going to hit us hard, but as you mentioned, it's going to hit Prince Edward Island hard, Newfoundland hard, St. Pierre and Miquelon also hard. So it's going to be a very significant storm for our region and our people.
Well, I'm comforted by your confidence. Nova Scotia's Minister of Municipal Affairs, John Lohr, thank you so much. Best of luck to you and everybody there.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your interest, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.